on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for.
Sean is a master. He teaches. It's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. And I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes. Do you think that worked? Bella Rita, I do think that worked. I mean, Tanya Freeman, John Harmon.
Yes, and John Harmon is lost in the multiverse.
Again?
I am tech support for John Harmon. He is logging it.
Yes, because he travels between galaxies.
He does.
That's what this man does. So listen, thank you, Ray, for being here. Happy Mastery Monday. We're going to have some fun today, but we're going to do some really meaningful things. Appreciate you as we explore the superpower of integrous influence. Tanya, you're extraordinary. Bella Rita, welcome. And please, who's here?
Sean, we definitely have some extraordinary people for the National Black Business Visionaries Heart of Influence. First up, from Drexel Hill, PA, America's #1 small business expert, a best-selling author, keynote speaker, and marketing expert, CEO of a marketing consulting firm, serving Fortune 500 brands, the largest target small businesses, reaching over 1 million entrepreneurs weekly online with her advice, has an online school, hosts a podcast with a book that teaches people to become their own bosses in 12 months. Wow. I almost, with my dyslexia, saw 12 minutes, which would have been very impressive. But let's welcome to the show, Melinda Emerson.
Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here.
Melinda, holy cow. I mean, one extraordinary fact after another. Congratulations on everything you've done. Thank you for being here. Melinda, hopefully in the green room. I know it was a little short window. We talked about fun facts being a headline, not an entire story. So you get this like disruptive Melinda no wayness present. So it could be something that's exciting, something you're proud of, something a little silly or fun, anything, Melinda, that will make us say, Melinda,
no way.
So please, what's your fun fact?
I just got back from Cambodia training women entrepreneurs over in Cambodia. I trained 400 women entrepreneurs 2 weeks ago in Cambodia. So
that would be a perfect example of Melinda.
No way.
That is an ideal fun fact headline. Congratulations. What a blessing it is to those folks in Cambodia. Thank you for sharing your mastery. And we are honored to have you here today. And we'll be right back, Melinda. So thank you.
We'll be right back. Next up from New York, a wealth management advisor with 35 plus years in finance, including prior experience as a VP senior advisor with 2 global financial firms, with an MBA from Columbia and multiple certifications. sits on the board of the African American Chamber of the Commerce, the New Jersey Symphony, and the Training Advisory Group National Committee in the U.S. Transit Authority. Let's welcome to the show, Deborah Frazier.
Deborah, welcome to Tanya Freeman, John Harmon, Heart of Influence today. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on all of your impact. And please, what is your fun fact?
Okay. So I will make a correction. That wasn't the Transit Authority. That was the USTA, the United States Tennis Association. So next time I'll remember and spell it out.
No. Sorry, no, thank you.
But thank you so much for having me here today. My fun fact is I love to travel. I've traveled to between 40 and 50 countries over the last 20 plus years. And I actually like to think of myself as a global citizen because I did live and work in London for 3 years and was responsible for 10 countries in the EMEA region, which was Europe, the Middle East, and Africa.
Wow. And if you go to any country tomorrow, just like tomorrow, boom, like world stops, time stops, you get to go to any country you want for a day or a week, what country would it be?
Well, one I haven't been to, so I would say Australia.
Ooh, beautiful thing. Australia is in the house. And by the way, roar, Columbia Lions, roar. Let's go.
Let's go. Also from New York, a practicing psychologist for 15 years, researching for 10, speaker all over the country for the government on workplace mental health, presents to corporations on happiness and the correlation between the happiness and the employee organizational success. First researcher in the world to lead a clinical study on high functioning depression, creating skills for people to recognize and navigate many of the challenges. Let's welcome to the show, Dr. Judith Joseph.
Thank you for having me.
I got lots of questions for Dr. Judith.
I'm sure you do. Shall we refer to you as Dr. Judith or some other way?
Dr. Judith is great. And I'm a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. So I can prescribe medication. And
oh my God. Thank God, Dr. Judith.
Therapy.
He needs the medication. He needs medication.
Dr. Judith, she'd be too much. But yes, please, Dr. Judith, what is your fun fact?
Fun fact is I have over 900,000 followers on social media, just from making videos about mental health and the research that I do. And I started doing the first videos on Caribbean mental health, which led to me getting an award from the U.S. House of Representatives and Congress last year for my research and advocacy. And then I taught one of my mental health workshops to the executive office of President Biden this year. So that was really interesting. That was probably the most memorable workplace mental health talk and workshop that I've ever given.
Judith, holy drop the mic in 50 different ways. I have like 6,000 questions. Listen, if I call you, just pick up because I had to talk to you about Bella. But it's okay. So thank you, Dr. Judith, and a huge, beautiful.
See, and I was gonna be nice because I was actually curious with Dr. Judith because I have never met a human with more certainty than this human in my entire life. And I feel like a whole study could be done about that in the most positive ways, because it's like the most extraordinary thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a human being and someone who struggles a lot with like doubt. I've never met a human being that like just doesn't let, I wouldn't say doubt doesn't come up, but like just does not let doubt ever interfere with anything that he's ever done. I would like a documentary on that because it's the most astonishing thing to me in the world.
Oh, thank you. And I appreciate that's very kind. So that was very nice. And yes, Bella is more mentally healthy than I am. So there we go. So return the favor. So Dr. Judith, appreciate that. And please.
Yes. And let's go from Clifton, New Jersey, president of the North Jersey Chamber of Commerce, applying marketing, networking, and relationship skills to supporting the continuous growth and prosperity within the networking community, an MBA in marketing, a professor in communications and media arts. Let's welcome to the show, Michelle Vernuccio.
Michelle, very grateful for you being here today. Thank you for bringing your leadership to the space. And please, Michelle, what is your fun fact?
My fun fact, let's see, back in 2018, hadn't taken a vacation in a long time and decided to serve as a volunteer at a pilgrimage in Lourdes, France, with 10,000 children and adults with special needs. And I served as a volunteer for one specific child. It was myself and someone else, where, we served as their volunteer, as their parent, as their friend, as their guardian that week. And it was such an incredible experience because 8 months prior to this event that we went to for an entire week in France, we had to spend time with them and their family and take them out so they would get adjusted with us. So it really, really, truly was a wonderful experience in giving back and just being present with all these wonderful folks and people and all sharing the whole, the same idea of being togetherness. So that really was something great for me.
Amazing. Michelle, beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that and for being here today. Pilgrimages are present, Bill. Rita, please.
Pilgrimages are present. Next up, going to Washington, D.C., which I feel like is a pilgrimage in itself at the current moment. President of the U.S. Black Chamber, guiding access to capital opportunities, education, and chamber development. Previously led what became one of the most successful Black-owned businesses in the country, then began running a local Black chamber. After massive success, Senator Obama elected him. Good thing I didn't call him senior. Senator Obama elected him to his association, now grown to 176 chambers nationally with 306 members. Let's welcome to the show, Ron Busby Sr.
Ron, congratulations to you as well for your mastery, growth mindset, heart-centeredness. And please, Ron, what is your fun fact?
Well, let me do as the previous speakers have done and make a couple of corrections. One, Senator Obama didn't select me. We had a conversation about it and he said, gosh, we could use you. But it was really, not his effort. It was really more of local chambers as well as mine. And then the second one, you said 306,000, no, it's 306, it's 360,000 members across the country. And as I was listening to the other speakers, I was like, man, they got great stories. I don't really have a great fact. I will say that during my time in Phoenix, Arizona, running the local Black chamber, we did not have Dr. King Holiday. And I was part of an initiative, kind of led the role in bringing Dr. King Holiday, but then it consisted of us also bringing a new Cardinals football stadium there and working with both the Democrats and John McCain to make it happen. And that's where Senator Obama saw me and said, gosh, this kind of working on both sides of the aisle, we could really use that type of leadership in Washington, D.C. So then in 2009, I moved to Washington to start the U.S. Black Chambers Inc.
Wow.
Okay. Do you think that doesn't give you some cool fun facts? Like stadiums in Phoenix,
I don't know.
coming across 360,000 members. Like, if that's not incredibly great stories, we've had 8,000 people on this show since its inception. How does that make you like one of the most powerfully, amazingly cool people for what you've done? No, that is super
Well, I'm
fun.
listening to people that have been taking care of children and traveling around the world. So that I just am excited to be on the panel and having conversations with this.
Well, I am in awe. And we say that what we're always seeking to do to open the listening to people integrously is, we certainly don't want to lie or exaggerate, but people are often falsely modest where they conceal their amazingness. And not only are you invoking of curiosity, not only are you inspirational, but your career and what you've done is awe-inspiring, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And next up, I feel like I hear this man's name almost on a daily basis. I feel like he's a celebrity and I'm blinded already. Coming from Trenton, New Jersey, founder, president, and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, an iconic figure in the African American business leadership, advancing the economic empowerment for over a decade. The chamber he leads is ranked in the top 3% of the accredited chambers in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Federation. And that is just the start, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. John Harmon.
Now, let me say, I'm in West Palm Beach today, and I'm excited to be here. And also to Mr. Busby, who I've never had the pleasure of being on the same frequency as him, but I've seen him in passing. And congratulations to you and all that you've done around the country, because the work that we do is so desperately needed. And to Sean and this amazing team and Tanya Freeman, I just want to thank you all as humbly as I can. I want to thank you. And I'll be real quick here. I have a meeting at 6 o'clock, but let me say this, Sean. I'm humbled and proud to, I'm going to give you two fun facts. One, I'm going to talk a little bit about the chamber. And, I'm going in my 28th year now being in the chamber business. And this was not my original plan for my life. I'm a former banker. I worked in banking about 10 years or so in New York primarily, and I did a little stint in New Jersey, in Philadelphia, I'm sorry. But we've been able to, there's 154 chambers in New Jersey, and we've been able to achieve the statewide accreditation with distinction from the U.S. Chamber. And according to the U.S. Chamber, we're the only accredited Black chamber in the country with the U.S. Chamber. But the work we do is God's work. The people we serve are people who have the wherewithal to provide value. And it's our obligation to them to get them connected to the resources, opportunities, and information to help them realize their dreams. So that's what I do every day with a staff of 16 people, and we're excited. But the fun fact about me is I own a transportation company for 16 years. I still have my CDL. I've driven a tractor trailer as far south as Miami, all states in between. In terms of going Ohio, I've been throughout Ohio on a number of occasions, and throughout the boroughs of New York and the Bronx, with this big rig. But the last thing I'll say, I did a round trip one day to Montreal and back in the same day.
Wow.
So I had to meet with one of our companies we did business with. So my nephew and my son and I, and this time I drove the car, and we rode up to Montreal and we're back home the same night. So, so if you can just imagine doing that, it's probably about an 800-mile turn. But yeah, that's all I got to share. I thank you for the opportunity to chat today.
Well, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Just remarkable career. Corollary fun fact, John, do you remember the trucking company St. Johnsbury? Was that
Yes.
Yeah, my dad worked for St. Johnsbury, so my dad spent his life in trucking. So I didn't realize that part about your background, but it brings up warm things.
I can still do it, Sean. If
Let's
I
go.
have to. If
Let's
the
go.
chamber kicks me to the curb, I will get in there, get the 9-speed, the 10-speed, and go get it.
All right. Well, I was talking to my dad a little while ago. The Mets won today, beat the Braves, made the playoffs. My dad was crying. And it's very fun to see a person from trucking cry.
Yes.
But the Mets made my dad cry today as they made the postseason. So, John, thank you. And we'll circle back in a moment. That is an incredible human of impact. Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Welcome, John, and the woman that brought us all together here today from East Hanover, New Jersey, the top divorce attorney representing pro athletes, TV personalities, entertainers, and corporate execs, chair of the board of directors for the University Hospital in New Jersey, named one of the 25 most influential people in healthcare in 2022, gave generously to her alma mater when she created the emergency fund, meeting short-term financial needs for the economically disadvantaged students. Also a mother of a cool half dozen children. Let's welcome to the show, Miss Tanya Freeman.
Cool half dozen, led by Tanya Freeman. Thank you, Tanya, for everything that you do. And please, your fun fact.
So my fun fact, I'm going to stay on this half dozen kid thing. And so before I started practicing law, I ran the audit department for Blue Cross and Blue Shield right here in New Jersey. And I actually gave birth to four of those 6 kids in 5 years. So in 5 years,
Whoa.
4 kids while running the audit department of an insurance company. And I heard that there was an office pool on how many more kids I would have and how much I would weigh after each birth. And so that is my fun fact. My colleagues at Blue Cross were super kind to me as I had 4 kids in 5 years.
That is absolutely unbelievable. Well, Tanya, thank you so much for that as well. Now, Tanya and everyone, I'm going to introduce the woman who's been introducing all of us. Diagnosed with dyslexia as a child, she began her career in influence, selling crafts on her parents' front lawn as an 8-year-old. By the age of 19, she was a 7-figure business generator in a space of network marketing. That's not easy to do. Then in the male-dominated industry of business brokerage, she was three-peating like Jordan, except as Nevada's #1 business broker 3 straight years. 24, 25, and 26 years old, she did it. First woman ever to do it at all. Youngest person, male or female, ever to do it, let alone 3 straight times, starting at 24 years old. She then began to train entrepreneurs and Fortune 500 companies. In fact, in 2019, every sales team this woman worked with doubled their sales. Skier, surfer, scuba diver, adventurer. Maybe she learned how to do it from a blind man, maybe from YouTube. Depends on how she's feeling about the blind man on that day. She's a philanthropist that's raised 8 figures, $10 million for charity in the past 2.5 years with the Unblinded team. She is also a 2-time, about to be 3-time published author who in 2023 courageously, powerfully was diagnosed with and defeated cancer. The woman that put the heart in the heart of influence. Let's welcome to Tanya Freeman, John Harmon's heart of influence, the one, the only, Bella Farita. Bella, please.
Yes, I think I'm going to actually share a fun fact that has to do with this woman who's the chair of the board of directors for the National University Hospital, who I think it was 2 years ago said, I don't go in the ocean. I don't go in the water. I don't put my feet in the sand. And nobody is going to get me to do any of those things. It's just not going to happen. And my fun fact is I was there when she went in the water, when she put her toes in the sand, and when she might have made out with stingrays. And now her husband is convinced she likes the ocean and wants to know why they're not going on vacation to the beach. That is my fun fact for today.
Tanya Freeman makes out with stingrays, puts her feet in the sand, and now goes in the ocean. Tanya, are we hearing you correctly?
Oh, yes. I jumped off a boat because Sean Callaghan convinced me to jump off a boat in the middle of some water.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Tanya, shall we do the things?
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
Well, let me introduce the man that caused this woman to get in the ocean, and I think actually like it just a little bit. The man that Tony Robbins said, there's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghan. He beats world champions like Bet Key at body surfing competitions. He's only one of 2 attorneys to win 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 2016, and the only one that's blind out of 1.2 million attorneys. In fact, the state of New Jersey actually named him one of New Jersey's most influential attorneys. He has spoken on stages such as Disney, T-Mobile, Salesforce, Tony Robbins 18 times. And when he's not busy flying around speaking on stages, he's an incredible philanthropist that raised nearly $10 million for refugees in Ukraine. Let's welcome my co-host, Mr. Sean Callaghan.
Thank you, Bella Rita. Thank you, Tanya, John, everybody for being here. Massive gratitude. And I will go with this as my fun fact. Yes, I'm a blind man that has taught sighted people to ski, surf, and scuba dive. And 12 months ago, as a blind guy, I'm surfing in Long Beach Island, New Jersey. I love the great state of New Jersey, home from birth to death. That's what it'll be for me. And I'm surfing, and all of a sudden I hit something, and I'm like, what happened? And I get to the beach, and I hit a shark. And the shark turned around and bit my surfboard with me on it. That is an absolutely true story, 1 mile away from where the original shark attack that caused Peter Benchley to write Jaws actually happened in 1916. So I put that for today.
That is a super fun fact.
That's a great fun fact.
Yes,
Well,
so
thank
you didn't
you.
get eaten by the shark.
Yes, I have the surfboard and videos and all the things to prove it. So it's a crazy fun fact. But thank you for that. Bella, who's going
And
first?
Tanya, this is the man that you let take you into the ocean.
And Grand Cayman and jump off a boat.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
can't swim.
Yes, we did 5 miles out in the ocean. Tanya Freeman was jumping into the ocean, but it was 3 feet of water in a sandbar. Yes, it was a
Yes.
beautiful thing. She's incredible. Yes.
Let's kick this show off with Miss Deborah Fraser.
Deborah, here's what we're doing. We're exploring the superpower of influence because all the incredible things that all of you have done have been the byproduct of causing people to say yes. But pitching, hooking, closing, I don't think energetically that vibrates the highest level. But what does it look like when heart-centered, growth-minded, integrous, masterful people come together and a yes should happen? That's what the show's all about. There's been 8,000 people here. This is a research and development laboratory for the greatest science of getting yes through when it's really hard to get yes through in the crowded world of messaging. So to illustrate this, Bella's going to be anybody you want her to be. She could be an ideal client. She could be a charitable fundraising partner. Heck, she could be somebody famous like Oprah Winfrey or Warren Buffett, maybe even John Harmon, whomever you'd like Bella to be that you're seeking to create a yes with. So please, Deborah, who would you like Bella to be that in 3 minutes, doesn't have to be a sale, could just be yes for a longer meeting that you're going from hello to yes with, please?
I'm not put on the spot at all.
But any yes that you cause, like a client,
It could be
yes.
a client. It could be a client.
And what would be a great client for you? What would they like? Their demo?
Someone who is interested in estate planning and legacy planning, who is probably near retirement.
Oh, Bella's right there.
Yeah.
I
Near
was
re-
You
Yes.
might get fed to sharks next
Yes,
time.
Bella Rita, you are 100 years from retirement.
Hello, this is Bella.
Mhm. Yeah, near retirement and has the funds they need to do legacy planning.
Okay. Hello, this is Bella.
Hi, Bella. How are you?
I'm doing well, Deborah. How about yourself?
Okay. So am I to try to get you to say yes?
Yes,
Okay.
we're here.
Okay, so Bella, I'm following up on some planning work that we've been doing, the estate planning work that we've been doing. And we have found that your estate planning needs centered around a $6 to $8 million estate planning gap that you have, large taxes that you're going to have to pay, at some point when you and or
Yeah, I
your
don't
wife
want to pay
become
those.
deceased. Hmm?
I don't want to pay those.
Yeah, and we we want to see you be able to take some of that tax liability out of your estate and move it over into a vehicle that will allow you to pass on a much larger amount of wealth to your heirs. Is that something you'd be interested in?
If I'm hearing you correctly, I'm hearing less money to Uncle Sam, more money to my family. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I am definitely want to know more information about that.
Okay. So one of the recommendations that we would like to make is that you and your wife consider a second to die policy that has a value of $8 million. That's the cash, but that's the death benefit amount of the insurance policy. And we would use your gift tax exemptions, which would be about $108,000 for you and your wife. And that is what we would use to purchase the life insurance and fund the irrevocable life insurance trust. That would mean that we would take that amount of money out of your estate, and eventually, when there has to be a payout for your life insurance, all of that money would go to your heirs. We would refer to it as replacement insurance. So all of that money would go to your heirs. They would not be taxed on it. Your estate would not be taxed on it. And in the meanwhile, that money is in the policy and growing on a tax deferred basis until the payout is actually made.
Deborah, this sounds like a fantastic idea. I'm definitely in for this. But my question is, what happens if my only heir is my dog and I want to leave everything to my dog? Then what do we do?
Do you really want to leave everything to your dog, Bella?
I don't think so. But Deborah, absolutely phenomenal job. We'll get to the feedbackers in just a moment. And let's go, Melinda. Melinda, who would you like for me to be?
You know, I would love for you to be Sharon Miller, and she's the president and head of small business for Bank of America.
Sharon Miller. I like being president of banks. I am in for this. Hello, this is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. This is Melinda Emerson, the small biz lady. And, you know, I have noticed for the last 2 years, you have shared a lot of my content on social media, and I've been very interested to meet you. I've worked with over 150 corporate brands on outreach and awareness activities for small business, but I'm very interested in you in particular because not only are you the head of small business banking, I know that you are on the diversity and inclusion executive committee, and you're also a champion of women's activities within Bank of America. And I've all just wanted to meet you and have a conversation and find out if there's anything that I might be able to do. There's a lot of services that we have now. We have Small Biz Lady Academy, our monthly membership site that has content available in English and Spanish for women entrepreneurs. We also have Small Biz Lady University, and we have an AI accelerator. So I'd love to talk to you about what you guys are doing to better serve your small business customers.
Well, Melinda, thank you so much for that. And yes, you know, we have shared your content because we do find it very, very valuable, and, you know, how you're serving the community, what your mission is. And so I'm definitely happy to have a longer conversation and see where we can go.
Thank you. That would be wonderful.
Awesome. Great job, Melinda. Great job, Deborah. Now we get to the judges, otherwise known as feedbackers, and we get to give back in the form of feedback. And so it's going to be 30 seconds of feedback for Deborah or Melinda, something that they did great, something that they could do to improve, and then a little like next step. Is that next step you'd rather go to the dentist and have a root canal than have a longer conversation with Melinda or Deborah? I don't think that was that painful. So maybe that next step is a little mocha chocolate and a little croissant at Starbucks for a little bit longer of a conversation. But if that's not enough time, maybe a private room at the Capitol Grill, having a nice long dinner for that longer conversation. But if that is still not enough time, you would be willing to rent a private jet, of course, stop and pick up Tanya Freeman, and fly anywhere in the world to have the longest conversation with Deborah or Melinda. And so let's kick this off with Michelle. Michelle, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Deborah?
My feedback for Deborah was I love that she provided numbers, right? I think as we're speaking with folks or whatnot, numbers stick, right? So she provided great numbers that added very much solidity to her, we'll say her argument, right? In the sake of this conversation. And she was really on point with really going back from, to that legal point of view, right? Like, these are the benefits for you, and this is what it is. And I loved her nonverbals, how she was very just straight to the point, very confident, had her integrity in line, and she was really straight into it.
Awesome.
And she had a great answer for your dog, I will say, Bella.
Yeah. And what would the next step be? A little mocha chocolate latte, a dinner, private jet ride? What would it be?
I think in this case, we might have to do a private jet ride.
Woo! And where would the private jet go?
The private jet would go, I would say, to Budapest. And in Budapest, we would all, well, not all. I mean, if you want to invite me again, I hope there'll be enough room in that jet there. But in Budapest, in that, what's it called? The Red River, right?
Wow.
In that Red
Let's
River,
go.
we become comfortable and really probably extend those life insurance plans as well.
Love
Look
it.
at her.
Look at this. Rocking the things. Yes.
Rocking the things. Next, let's go, Mr. Ron. How about your 30 seconds of feedback for Melinda?
Thank you. I think, Melinda, it was a great presentation. I was kind of thrown off guard a little bit because I didn't really know the background of the product or what you were requesting. So sometimes I think we can go in and start asking people about introductions and can you refer me? Sometimes it may not necessarily be the person that can say no, or maybe that might not be the person that can say yes, but if they can introduce you to the person that can say yes, because I don't know if the person that you were talking to was the ultimate decision maker. So a lot of times when you start bringing up things about DE&I, a lot of people get a little concerned on that. And so sometimes you just got to make sure you're talking to the right people, because in this environment, things can go left really, really quickly when you start bringing up controversial conversations like that.
Well, thank you for that, Ron. And Ron, what would the next step be? A little cup of coffee, maybe a dinner?
I think the next steps on that kind of conversation would be maybe a PowerPoint, because there was a lot of information gathered. So some type of presentation that I could see verbally, that I could see visually, and something that I could review when we were not together. But a cup of coffee would be great. We could meet somewhere, or you could even come to the office.
Yeah, Ron, awesome job. Appreciate that a ton. Bell Rita, Ron is in the building.
And next up, we got Dr. Judith. I think who's going to write a prescription or two for you.
Yes, I would appreciate that.
Yes. Dr. Judith, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Deborah?
Well, I think that what I liked about what Deborah was saying was that she put herself in the shoes of the person that she was trying to appeal to. You know, like she was like, okay, what would be valuable to this individual? Like leaving a legacy, leaving things back for those that they love, right? So she really tried to connect with the individual using empathy. I do think that maybe a point of, maybe because she was the first to go, there was a little bit of like shock, but I think maybe humanizing the tone, because I feel like when you are softer with people in some cases, and maybe using a little bit of humor, that allows them to let their guard down and to maybe let you in and to hear what you're saying a bit more than if you were to approach it with all business. But I do think that, you know, that's probably because she went first. And I loved how she tried to bring it back to what are the goals for the individual, because that's what I do in my practice. I'm like, how do I get the person to align with the goals that I think are best for them? But I also have to listen to them and put myself in their shoes.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Dr. Judith. And next step would be a little cup of coffee, a meal, maybe a private jet ride. What would that next step be, Dr. Judith?
I'm more along the quality than the quantity. So I think that cup of coffee goes a long way. There's a reason why a lot of politicians do that, you know, because that relatability it really hits people and it makes them remember you.
Thank you, Dr. Judith.
Thank you, Dr. Judith. And of course, last but not least, Ms. Tanya Freeman. How about your 30 seconds of feedback for Melinda?
So Melinda, you had such certainty in getting that yes. You know, you were confident. I agree with Ron, like just leaning in a little bit on what it was. But I love that you picked up on the fact that they were liking your social media posts. So what you're putting out there, you're like, hey, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Like, so let's further the conversation. So I just loved your certainty there.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Tanya Freeman. And Tanya, you know what time it is. Please remember, I helped you make out with stingrays.
Tanya, as you know, and everyone, this is the time in the show that I have the honor and privilege of putting my co-host on the hot seat in a scenario that he has no idea about, because I always cook them up as the show has been going on. So I've cooked up a couple of scenarios down here. Ultimately, Tanya, you can choose one of my scenarios for Sean to go from hello to yes on. You can change anything about the scenarios, or you can scrap them all together and come up with something much, much harder on your own. Are you ready to hear what I have for today?
Let's go, Bella.
All right. Option number one. You and I are both fans of our pooches. And there is actually a business, Glitz and Glamour Pooch Party, and they are a traveling bus so you can have a party for your dog. And so I thought option number one is Sean could role play the founder of Glitz and Glamour, or Glamour and Glitz Pooch Party, going from hello to yes with Sharon Miller, the SBA bank person, going from hello to yes to get funding to grow her Glamour and Glitz Pooch Party business. So that is option number one, Tanya. Option number two is, we've all heard there's been some people that have been affected by the Hurricane Helene. So I thought option number two, and Asheville was one of those places that was definitely had some devastation. Michael Jordan is from Asheville, was living in Asheville. So option number two is Sean could go from hello to yes with Michael Jordan to donate $1 million for relief efforts from Hurricane Helene. That is option number two. And then option number three, since we got a lot of chambers here, is Sean could role play a chamber committee member, is the person that's the membership committee person. They had someone that came to the networking thing, but Sean asked them, like, do you want to join the chamber? And they're like, no, I don't believe in this stuff. Like, I just came for the free food and wine. I don't really want to join the chamber. It doesn't really do anything. And Sean would convince that person to join the chamber. So those are the three options that I have for you today. Tanya, any of those tickle your fancy, or do you have something much harder cooked up your sleeve?
Oh my gosh, I was going to think of something much harder, but I have to go with option three. I think it's so incredibly appropriate. I want to hear this.
Okay, and so who do you think should play that network goer that's like the tire kicker who's just a freeloader of the cheese and wine?
Well, not that Ron just wants cheese and wine, but you got the most members. So I think if Ron is the person that came for the cheese and wine, it's perfect.
All right.
It's perfect. Ron, you're good?
Ron just came for the cheese and wine, doesn't want anything to do with this chamber thing, Sean. And you're going from hello to yes again. Join the chamber.
Which chamber?
Any chamber.
Okay. And Ron came for the cheese and wine, does not want to join the chamber.
Yes.
And I am who? The membership director of the chamber?
You're the membership director of the chamber.
Okay. I will be Bella, the membership director of the chamber.
Fantastic.
Okay. Hi, Ron.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm well, nice and full. Had a couple of drinks, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah. So I'm Bella, and I'm super grateful to have a couple of minutes to chat. Do you have a moment? I don't want to certainly encroach on your time and space.
I do.
Yeah, awesome. So can I ask you this, Ron? What brings you to the wine, the cheese, the tasting? What brings you here tonight at the chamber?
Relatively new to the community, looking for some social activity, but not the club scene, not trying to hook up. And I'd heard that they were having free networking and some drinks. And so I just thought I'd stop by. I'm a business owner, so thought it might be of value.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming by. And what type of business are you in?
I have a janitorial service.
Awesome. And if I could ask, what's the ultimate mission, vision, purpose for you? You're looking to grow, expand, exit at some point? Is it sort of a lifestyle business that you're keeping in a smaller structure? Like, what's the ultimate why behind it, Ron?
No, we're a large firm, Black-owned firm. We do business across the country. I'm looking to continue to grow it, maybe pass it off to one of my sons or sell it later on.
Wow. Awesome. And what's the why though behind it? How do you relate to entrepreneurship? Congratulations on building such a scaled business. But if I could ask, what's that why that drives you?
Gosh, I worked in corporate America. Worked there for quite a while. I remember I was 27 years old. I used to come to work at 7, not leave until 7. Not because I was an excellent employee. I was just trying to learn the industry. Wow. And about 6 months into it, there was a 56-year-old white guy who was also there. Used to come to work at 9 and leave at 5. And about 4 months into my career, my supervisor told me to come in and pack my bags. I thought he was going to terminate me. And he said, no, I was going to be Joe's boss. And I said, oh, I got to figure out how to get out of here because I didn't want to work 30 years to have some young kid, come in that was trying to run the business or trying to learn the business to then become my supervisor. So I said, let me figure out how to be the best entrepreneur I could. And so thus the why. And so that's why I kind of stopped by here.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So, I want to let you run, but in our final minute or so, can I share a couple of things that may or may not make sense to you? So what we do here at the Chamber is a little different. I think chambers have a really interesting reputation. And, from the days of Booker T. Washington and the original concept of people coming together socially, commercially, impactfully, legislatively, what chambers are is amazingly diverse. And like anything, there's chambers of commerce that, respectfully is just a kind of gathering of people with a hope and a prayer. And some chambers are really run incredibly optimally to create massive impact and acceleration. And what this chamber is all about is how do you literally get the benefits you're seeking? And some people that are here, Ron, desire to create more financial abundance. Some folks are looking for more scaling and time freedom. And some folks, perhaps like yourself, are looking for that more magic impact in the world overall. But whatever the approach, we have tracks for people that come here. Now, I'm definitely not here to pitch you on joining the chamber this evening, but what I'd love to do is have a follow-up conversation about sort of who you are and see how much of a fit there would be or not, because there's some very unique benefits that we have here, like we run shared experiences. We create opportunities for education, acceleration, including in philanthropy, and some really unique programs that are present here. And if any of that resonates, all I'm simply seeking is a 30-minute follow-up conversation, because I think there would be some really powerful resonance for what you're looking to create. And I can hear it. So how would it resonate with you or not to have a follow-up conversation where we can make some specific introductions that I think would be relevant and valuable for your business, which I'd be willing to do whether or not you join the chamber. So Ron, what's present for you?
Gosh, Bella, you are a great salesperson. I'd love to hire you. Here's my challenge. I've been in here all day at the event, and all these businesses are very small and they're all looking to me for opportunities for me. I don't want to be the big fish in the room. I think I need to find a room that has bigger fish than I. And so this might be a great fit for other small businesses, but I'm just a little bit too large to be small, but not quite large enough to be considered big. But this isn't quite the room for me. And it's a little bit too diverse for my taking. I'm really intentional about the rooms I go into. I need to know that there's some transparency there. And I like to hold my partnerships very accountable. So I really appreciate all the things that you brought to my attention. I think this is of great value. I think I actually know some other businesses that I might be able to refer to you. But from my own perspective, I think I need to probably find another chamber or another organization that might meet my needs.
Sure. May I share a couple quick things before we pause? Would that be okay? So I fully appreciate that. Because one of the things that we tell people is you should never be in a room where exactly what you described, where you're the person everybody's seeking business from. So my apologies for whomever invited you to this night and mismatched you. But what I wanted to talk about in our 30-minute follow-up conversation is all the people that are in rooms with our chamber, because we do have some bifurcation of people that fit into your demographic precisely. So that's exactly what I'm looking to do, because I don't believe that we should have solopreneurs mixing easily in the beginning with people who have scaled national businesses like yourself. So first of all, my apologies for having you come into this space and it being a poor reflection on some of the different segments of our chamber. But if you'd permit me to have a follow-up conversation with you, I can outline some people that I think would be precisely what you're looking for, and how we have specific dinners and engagements for groups of people that are already creating national presences or regional presences that have dozens of employees up to thousands. How would that resonate with you, Ron?
I would be interested in that.
Yes, sir. So my apologies, but I'm glad you've enjoyed the wine and the cheese. And so, we exchange cell phone information, and we'll set up that meeting.
Perfect.
Awesome. At a roll, Ron, how'd I do having a conversation about the chamber with a clearly masterful person like yourself, Ron?
Man, you did extremely well. Like I said, Bella, you looking for an opportunity. I'm looking for my next salesperson. So you got to hire here.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for that, Ron. A really wonderful job. And again, congratulations on all of your impact and success. And fun footnote, meant every word of it. I have the privilege of owning a 120-person law firm, and we've built and grown and scaled across the country, do a lot of incredibly unique things. And what I am a stand for, Ron, is what you just said. And it couldn't be more aligned, that when people very often are like, hey, we've got to give people a chance and we've got to help people. But I think we can only help people after we build the right structures. So very often people are turned off by coming into rooms where people aren't equally yoked, not in terms of human beings. We're all equally, worthy of love and respect and all the things. But, Tom Brady's not playing football, with people that are in 8th grade. So how do we mix people together optimally and then create mechanisms to bring people up once we have the right people in the structure? So that's something you so beautifully and masterfully hit upon, which I know comes from all of your experience and mastery. So thank you for that and for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. And by the way, how was your experience overall, Ron, on the Heart of Influence today?
It's good. I wasn't sure what I was signing up for, but this has been interesting.
Yes. And that's all we're looking for. The whole purpose of any shared experience initially is to invoke curiosity. And hopefully we did. And there's a whole lot more. Because imagine if every member of a chamber ran their own Hearts of Influence, bringing people together, make introductions, instead of going to the chamber to look for introductions. Make sense?
No, I think it was a wonderful experience. I'd love for my sales guy to talk to you.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Ron. Awesome job. And then, of course, we have Melinda. Thanks, Melinda, for being that participancy. Wonderful, wonderful job. Opening the listening of people. Never an easy place to be, but you did a beautiful job, Melinda. And how was your time with us today?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was different. I definitely didn't exactly know what this was, but I'm glad I said yes.
Amen. And the reason you wouldn't know what this is because it'd be like looking at a computer before you knew what computers were. That's all. So thank you for that, Melinda. Dr. Judith, Tanya Freeman, Heart of Influence, did a great job. Love the fun energy. Bella wants me to get at least 2, 3, or 4 prescriptions. Thank you for that. And Dr. Judith, how was your time on Tanya Freeman's Heart of Influence today?
It was great. I mean, I'm usually around other clinicians all day long, but it's nice to mingle with people who run large businesses and who are in different industries. And it reminds me a bit about my time. I got an MBA at Columbia as well. I did the MD MBA program. It was just a dual degree. So it reminded me of my time in business school where I was the only doctor in the room. And it's fun for me to learn from others who are doing wonderful things, especially in the Black community. So thank you.
Thank you. That's really awesome. And congratulations. And did you, that was the main campus, like 115th to 120th Street, correct?
Yeah, the medical school is on 168th, and then the business school is in Morningside.
So you're going back, and so you'd be taking classes in both places?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Congratulations. So thank you. Roar, Lions, roar. Yes. So Bella, please.
I think, Sean, you are the prescription for happiness. I don't think you need any prescriptions.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And let's go to the woman who kicked us off in the participant seat, which is probably the hardest role in the entire show, but Deborah did a phenomenal job. And how was your time with us on the Heart of Influence?
Okay, Bella, thank you. My time has been wonderful. That first moment, I could have traded it for a lot of other things. But I'm really glad I did it. And I'm following up with Dr. Judith. I did the EMBA program also when my son was 2 and I was working full time. And, I just can't imagine that I got through that, but I did. And that was exhilarating. I'm glad I was here tonight. I kind of got thrown into the fire and, it just really made me want to prepare myself better for being called upon at any time and being clear on what I want to say. And so I have a lot of work to do for myself.
Deborah, beautiful job though. Thank you. Really did a great job. Never easy being the participant seat. You did wonderfully. Please, Bella.
Absolutely. Let's go. Michelle, absolutely phenomenal job kicking us off into the judges seat. And how was your time with us on Tanya's Heart of Influence?
So much fun. Everything's about timing. So I don't know about the rest of my colleagues here, but Monday is always a manic Monday. So to end the Monday on an incredible episode of Unblinded just made the rest of the week so much better. But it's been such a privilege to be on this awesome panel, we'll call it, with my esteemed colleagues here, which is great. But one thing that I love that we all share and we all have in common is, as professionals, no matter what situation we're in, we accept it, we enroll in it, right? And we do our best to be in those unblinded situations. And as professionals, I mean, we're probably all hit left and right with so many fires, right, to kind of uncover and whatnot. So it's so wonderful to see that we all share that common ground. And it was fun today. I loved it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Incredible job. What energy.
Yes.
Beautiful job.
A lot of beautiful energy.
I'm like trying to hold on to my seat. I want to like start doing cartwheels in my office here.
Oh my God. Stepping us to the one and only.
It does bring us the one and only.
Tanya, beautiful work. We thank John Harmon, Tanya Freeman for making today possible. Tanya, your leadership is just so present. Your growth mindset, though, is exemplary at the highest levels. And Tanya, please, your final on your and John's Heart of Influence today.
Oh, well, thank you, Sean. Thank you for being my partner, my coach in so many aspects of my life. So grateful to you and Bella and this audience, because this is what it could look like, whether you're growing and scaling a hospital, whether you're growing and scaling a practice, whether you're growing and scaling a chamber. This is how we add more value to people's lives. It's not just about going for the round of golf or the here, there, and everywhere, but this is what it can look like for all of us.
Amen to that time. We could rise, create impact, and have a lot of fun doing it. So thank you for that. And we have a number of gifts. Thank you all for being here on behalf of Tanya, John. First, we have our book on group influence. Like, we really need another book. Answer is, I couldn't find this, so we wrote it and created it. Blow your mind on the science of how group influence works with public speaking, leadership, and management. That's the first thing we have for you. The second thing is, this Wednesday morning, an invitation to meet some other extraordinary people, have a wax on, wax off session in our deep practice. Third, we have a webinar coming up with the Allison Armstrong, the #1 relationship expert on the planet, who thinks that there is no such thing as relationships. So could not be more fascinating, understanding, mastering men, women, and money. And then finally, a business acceleration session. This is not just a chit chat. This is not an inspirational moment, but a diagnostic on how we fulfill our ultimate mission, vision, purpose, where those leakages are that we're not seeing. So in final, Bella Verita, please.
In final, first of all, you are all here to meet each other. So definitely connect with each other. Tanya, exemplary leadership in bringing these individuals together so they could meet each other. It is definitely not an easy feat to do. Absolutely exemplary leadership, and definitely check out those links in the chat, because the truth of the matter is I came into Unblinded the same way you did. I sat in the participant seat like Melinda and Deborah, and I came because I had some things to prove to him, to prove I was smarter, to prove I was better at sales, to prove all of these things. And then 4 years later, I am still blown away, like Tanya, by the things that I learn every single day, just like he did today. Because he gets yeses from people that I didn't get yeses from. And so there's definitely a lot to learn. So if it's money, time, or magic that you're looking for and you're looking to get more yeses, there is no better person to learn from. So definitely check out what we're doing on Wednesday. And thank you all for being here. And Sean, back to you.
Thank you. And those yeses are yeses with integrity. And because yeses, there are yeses that should happen and yeses that shouldn't happen. And how we are able to create them and differentiate is the foundation of everything. So in final, we end every show by saying this: I may be physically blind, which I am, can't see anything in front of me, but I'm absolutely certain that's the possibilities for acceleration that exist right in front of all of us. No matter how masterful or not, they sit right here. But unfortunately, Bella Verita, Tanya Freeman, at some level, we are all blind.
And just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.
Great job, Tanya.
you.